Welcome to the Parenting Deep Dive, where we explore the hidden dynamics of the modern American family home. Today we tackle a painful truth about why children feel unsafe, even when their parents love them very deeply. Why do kids in the suburbs of Chicago or Los Angeles still struggle with deep feelings of emotional insecurity? The answer is not a lack of toys or vacations, but something much deeper within the human nervous system. Many parents believe that providing a stable home and warm meals is enough to make a child secure. However, recent research from the University of Pennsylvania suggests that emotional safety requires a very different set of skills. If you are currently feeling frustrated because your child seems distant, then this episode is specifically for you today. We are going to break down the science of attachment and give you a roadmap for true emotional connection. I think that love is a feeling, but in the world of developmental psychology, love is action. You might be doing everything right on paper while your child's brain is stuck in a constant survival mode. This happens because children do not experience safety through logic, but through the resonance of their parent's internal state. When a parent is stressed about work in Seattle, the child picks up on that tension without even knowing. They interpret your furrowed brow or your heavy sighs as a sign that the world is a dangerous place. It is a heavy burden for parents to carry, but understanding this is the first step toward real healing. To understand this, we must look at the amygdala, which is the part of the brain that detects threats. For a child, a parent who is physically present but emotionally distracted can actually trigger a deep fear response. When a mother or father stares at their phone instead of making eye contact, the child feels abandoned. This is not because the parents are bad people, but because the child's brain is wired for social connection. According to a recent study from Harvard University, nearly 40% of children feel emotionally disconnected at home. This disconnection often looks like safety issues, even though the parents are providing everything they can possibly buy. Consider the story of a family living in a high-rise apartment in the heart of New York City. The father worked on Wall Street, and the mother was a successful lawyer at a firm in Midtown Manhattan. They provided the best schools and the best summer camps, but their 7-year-old son was constantly anxious. He would have meltdowns before school and refused to sleep in his own bed at night during the week. The parents were confused because they never hit him, and they always told him how much they loved him. But when we looked closer, we saw that the home environment was filled with high pressure and hidden stress. The parents were always rushing to the next meeting, and they never had time to simply be with him. Their love was conditional on his performance in school and his ability to stay quiet during their long calls. The child's nervous system was constantly scanning for cues of safety, but it only found cues of extreme urgency. To solve this problem, we use a framework called the S.A.F.E method, which stands for Seen, Attuned, Flexible, Empathetic. The first letter S stands for being seen, which means acknowledging the child's internal world and their unique feelings. This goes beyond just looking at them. It involves noticing their small shifts in mood throughout the day. The letter A represents attunement, which is the ability to align your internal state with your child's emotional needs. If they are sad, you do not tell them to cheer up, but you sit with them in sadness. The letter F is for flexibility, which allows you to change your parenting style based on the specific situation. Finally, the letter E stands for empathy, which is the foundation of all healthy relationships between parent and child. Let us dive deeper into the first step of this framework, which is the art of truly being seen. Imagine your daughter comes home from school in Boston and she is crying because a friend was very mean. The old way would be to say, "Do not worry, you will make new friends tomorrow afternoon, honey." This dismisses her feelings and tells her brain that her internal pain is not important or even valid. The new way is to look her in the eyes and say, "That sounds like it really hurt your feelings." By doing this, you are validating her experience and creating a bridge of safety between your two nervous systems. You are telling her that she is not alone in her pain and that you are a safe harbor. This simple shift can lower a child's cortisol levels almost instantly and help them regulate their intense emotions. Now let us talk about the second step, which is attunement, and why it is so difficult for adults. We live in a world that values productivity and speed, but children live in a world of slow rhythms. To be attuned, you must put down your phone and match the pace of your child's play or conversation. If they are building a tower of blocks in Chicago, you should sit on the floor and build too. You are not just playing, you are communicating that their interests are worthy of your precious time and attention. This builds a sense of worthiness in the child that will protect them from anxiety later in their lives. Many parents in the United States struggle with this because they feel they must always be doing something productive. But the most productive thing you can do for your child's brain is to simply be present with them. It requires a level of vulnerability that many of us were never taught by our own busy parents. During the first 2 weeks of this journey, you should focus entirely on active listening without offering any advice. When your child comes to you with a problem, simply repeat what they said to show that you understand. You will notice that their shoulders start to drop and their breathing becomes much slower and more regular. By the end of the first month, you will likely see a significant decrease in the number of tantrums. This is because the child no longer feels the need to scream to be heard by their primary caregivers. They know that you are watching and that you are ready to help them process whatever they are feeling. Between months 2 and 3, you can start to implement the flexibility part of the SAFE framework very effectively. This means recognizing when your child is tired or hungry and adjusting your expectations for their behavior that day. Instead of forcing a rigid schedule, you learn to dance with the needs of the moment with great grace. You might be shocked at how much more cooperative they become when they feel that you are flexible. A child who feels understood is a child who wants to please their parents and follow the house rules. Now let us discuss some of the most common mistakes that well-meaning parents make in this delicate process. The biggest mistake is trying to fix the child's feelings instead of just allowing the child to feel them. We often say things like, "Don't be sad," or "It is not a big deal to stop the crying." But this actually makes the child feel more unsafe because they feel they have to hide their true self. Another mistake is being too focused on the behavior and ignoring the underlying emotion that is driving the behavior. If your son hits his sister, it is likely because he feels jealous or left out of the game. Addressing the hitting is important, but addressing the jealousy is what will actually solve the problem for the long. You must become an emotional detective who looks for the clues that your child is leaving behind daily. If you have mastered the basics of the SAFE method, then you are ready for the advanced level techniques. The most powerful tool in a parent's arsenal is the concept of rupture and repair within the relationship. No parent is perfect, and you will eventually lose your temper or ignore your child when you are tired. This is called a rupture, and it can be very scary for a small child's developing nervous system. However, the magic happens in the repair, which is when you go to your child and apologize for it. You might say, "I am sorry I yelled at you earlier. I was feeling very stressed about my work." This teaches the child that relationships can be broken and then fixed with love and with honest communication. It builds a profound sense of security because the child knows that your love is stronger than any mistake. Research shows that children with parents who practice repair are more resilient and have higher self-esteem overall. They are not afraid of conflict because they know that conflict can lead to a deeper level of understanding. This is the level of mastery that separates good parents from truly great and transformative emotional leaders today. Let us take a moment to recap the main points we have discussed in this episode about emotional safety. First, we learned that physical safety and love are not the same as emotional safety in a child's brain. Second, we introduced the SAFE framework as a way to build a secure attachment with your child every day. Third, we looked at the importance of validation and attunement in calming a child's overactive nervous system right now. Fourth, we discussed the common mistakes that can lead to disconnection and how to avoid them in the future. Finally, we explored the power of rupture and repair in building a resilient and lasting bond with your children. I want you to start today by spending just 10 minutes of undivided attention with your child tonight. Put your phone in another room and simply watch them play or listen to them talk about their day. Do not judge or correct them, but just be there as a witness to their beautiful and growing life. You will be amazed at how quickly they respond to this simple act of love and true emotional presence. If you found this episode helpful, please leave a comment below and tell us your biggest parenting challenge lately. I will be responding to as many as I can to help you on this journey toward better parenting. In our next episode, we will be talking about how to handle sibling rivalry without losing your mind completely. Thank you for listening to the Parenting Deep Dive, and remember that you are doing a great job. It is never too late to start building a safer and more connected home for the people you love. Good night from the studio, and we look forward to seeing you again in the very next episode very soon.